Hi guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. I am finally back from my MIA little hiatus that I had there, but I'm excited to be back and I'm excited to be talking about Hailey's birth story. So let's not waste any time and let's jump right into it. So I do have a video up on my channel from last week. I posted just kind of like a welcome of Hailey and some pictures and a little video of Jacob meeting her at the hospital. So if you want to check that out, you can. I do want to say I did want to do more of a vlog style at the hospital, and it just never happened. I shared a room the first day and night, and I just didn't want to be vlogging in a room when I was sharing it with somebody else. I wanted to make sure that they had their privacy as well, and it just didn't happen organically. Like I said, I wanted to like do what happened naturally, and it just didn't happen naturally, so we didn't do it. But that's why I'm sitting here to tell you her birth story today, because I know that a lot of people want to know kind of what happened, and I always like watching birth stories because it's interesting to sort of see. So I had a doctor's appointment on May 1st. I was due May 2nd. Just a regular OB visit. They weighed me, they took my urine sample, he checked me to see how dilated I was, and I asked him to strip my membranes. So after he did all of that, I was getting dressed and he said, just meet me back in the other room and we can discuss everything. So I got dressed and I met him back in the other room, and he went, I'm a little bit concerned because you haven't gained any weight since March. Basically, I mean, this is the time that you should be bulking up. This is the time that you should be gaining that weight because baby's gaining all the extra weight. He said, your stomach is still growing and baby still feels like she's growing and all of that sort of stuff, but we don't know for sure, and I just want to make sure that everything's okay. So he sent me to the hospital for a non-stress test, which came back awesome. But he said, I'm thinking that I'm going to want to induce you either the 2nd or the 3rd. So when I got to the hospital to do the non-stress test, the nurses were like, why is he concerned about that? Like, it's not a big deal. The non-stress test came back awesome, but he still thought that it would be good for me to have my induction. I think the reason that is because I was induced with my son anyway, and he said a lot of the times your body does the exact same thing. It follows the exact same pattern. And he said, so like this was a few weeks before. So I think in his mind was the fact that I would probably be induced anyway, and there was no point in putting any stress on baby. So he never did say that, like I said, but it's just kind of what I'm gathering from it. So we got home, me and my husband were both kind of stressed out about it. It just felt weird to know that we were going in and mentally prepared for that. And we had to be up early in the morning because we're an hour away from the hospital. And we had to be there at 7, so we had to leave here by like no later than 6. And so I was up at 5 getting ready, and then I got a call at 6 in the morning that was like, sorry, the hospital is really busy, so we're not going to be doing your induction today. We'll schedule it for tomorrow. Same time, be here at 7. So that was really frustrating to me. So we went back to bed, my husband went to work, we played out the day, and then kind of had the same night. I had contractions all night, so I got very little sleep all night. I was contracting, but not super intense. It was enough that I got up and I had a bath, and I tried to walk around to see if they'd go away. But I was like, I'm not gonna go in because we're going in the morning for an induction. They can check me and all that sort of stuff there. I didn't want to go in and then have to be sent home and then have to go back early in the morning. So that's what we did. We just sort of like, you know, hit the brakes and sort of relaxed, and then in the morning got ready and went. No call, so that was good. We got to the hospital. Again, the nurses were confused why I was there. They got me my room. Again, like I said, I was sharing a room, so I wasn't in a private room for the first day or night, which was kind of not awesome, but that's okay. It worked out okay. And so they said, okay, we're just gonna wait for your doctor, and then he will kind of let us know what we're going to be doing. So there's kind of 2 different ways that they would induce me, either the drip, which is like the oxytocin, which I had with my son, or they could do the Cervidil. So my doctor came in at around 9 o'clock, I think, and he checked me, and I was only 1 centimeter dilated, and my cervix was still really high. So he decided to do the Cervidil. He said, worst case scenario is we need to repeat it tomorrow and maybe even the next day, and it stays in for 24 hours. It makes you hopefully contract and dilate, but sometimes it just makes you crampy. And so he said, that's what we're gonna do, and we can check you in a little bit, all that sort of stuff to see how it's going. So they hooked me back up onto the monitor to watch baby. They have to watch baby for 2 hours after the Cervidil goes in, just to make sure that baby's not under any stress and is taking to the medication fine. So we did that, and then my husband and I got up and we walked around, we played some cards, we were able to go outside but not like leave the hospital grounds. So we sat outside for a little bit, we had some lunch, and then I was starting to really start to get contractions. I was starting to not feel awesome. And so the nurses were like, your contractions are still mild, because they were monitoring baby every once in a while, and they would touch my stomach when I was having a contraction, and they were like, you're just not, it's not really an intense contraction. But I was starting to feel like they were getting more and more intense. And so I was feeling a little bit discouraged, I think is the right word, because I felt like I could be doing this for 3 days and it doesn't feel mild to me. I wouldn't say it feels like intense, but it didn't feel mild to me. So they said, you know what, the labor room is set up for you for when you are ready, unless somebody comes in that time frame to deliver. But they said there is the tub there if you want to go labor in the tub. So they have a really nice big jet tub. So I sat in the tub for about 45 minutes and labored there. And then I just was not able to get into a comfortable position. I was starting to really feel uncomfortable. And so I said to the nurse, like, is there anything that I can take for pain meds? Because if this is mild and I have to do this for 3 more days, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. So she said, we can check you, and if you're below a 4, we can give you some morphine. If you're above a 4, you can have fentanyl, or you can have the epidural. We'll figure that out once we check you. So they got me back to my room. I got all situated, all that sort of stuff. They checked me, and she was like, oh, you're at a 4. That's awesome. I don't really know what time this was at, like maybe 4 o'clock-ish, 3:30-ish. I'm not really sure. It kind of all blurs together for me. So they're like, we're going to take the Cervidil out, because like I said, it was medication on a string. And she said, once I take it out, things are going to happen fast. So she said, we're going to move you to the labor and delivery room. I want you to tell me kind of what pain meds you want. Like, think about that as we're moving you over. And we can go from there. So my options were the fentanyl or the epidural. And I was asking both my nurses, I loved both my nurses, by the way, loved them, what I could have or what they thought I should have. And they both said fentanyl, so that's what I ended up going with. I didn't really want the epidural anyway, and I was having a lot of pressure in my back. Nobody said it was back labor, so I don't know for sure, but I was having a lot of pressure. So the fentanyl is nice because you can take it every half an hour. What I liked about it is when they were giving it to me, everything kind of got a little bit like, I kind of felt like seasick almost, but once they had given it to me fully, I felt totally normal. It just took all of the pressure off of my back. I could feel my contractions, all of that sort of stuff. But I was really like emotional, I think, or like anxious, because you go from like, it could take 3 days to, oh, you're at a 4 and things are gonna happen fast and this baby's coming soon. So I was shaking every contraction I had. My whole body would shake. I threw up. I just was really uncomfortable. I was really like anxious and nervous. And so they gave me the bit of fentanyl, and then in half an hour I said, you know what, am I able to take it again? In between that time I had puked, and she was like, well, let me check you and see. So she checked me and she said, yeah, you're at a 6. I can give you another shot of it. So she gave me another dose of it. About 10 minutes later, my doctor came in and checked me, and he said, you're at about a 7.5, 8. And so he said, I'm gonna break your water and I'll come back probably in a couple hours and we'll have this baby. So he broke my water and he left, and in about 10 minutes from then, I said, I'm in a lot of pain, like a lot of pain. Can I have another shot of the fentanyl? And she was like, I just gotta check you. And she checked me and she was like, you're at like a 9.5. And I was like, okay, can you give me something? And she was like, no, we can't. I gotta get you prepped and ready because this baby is coming. So she was prepping and getting ready. My 2 nurses were in there. And then I started to really feel like I had to push. And I was in a lot of pain. My body was like just doing it. And they were like, Morgan, don't push, don't push. And I was like, I physically cannot not push. I have to. My body needs to push. And so the one nurse was like, okay, I want you to not push on your next contraction, just grunt through it. So that's what she was getting me to do. I was grunting through each contraction. And I was like, I need to push, like I physically need to push. I did that for about 2 or 3 contractions, and then she was like, where is this doctor? Like, where did he go? Like, they had called him back. He wasn't back yet. And so then my one nurse was standing beside me, and the other nurse was down at the bottom of me, just making sure that I was good and everything was still going good. And the nurse beside me went, okay, Morgan, doctor's not gonna make it. This baby is ready to come. She said, you're gonna push once, I promise. And I was like, you better not lie to me. I was like, do not lie to me. Like, I said that right to the nurse, like, do not lie to me. I do not want to be pushing for 45 minutes or 2 hours or whatever it is. Like, I want this baby out. And she's like, no, the baby is right there. You're going to give one push and she's going to be out. Again, at this point, we didn't know whether it was a girl or a boy. But now I can reference to she because she's here. And so they said, okay, so on your next contraction, Morgan, we're going to push. So I had a contraction. I pushed once, took a breath, pushed twice, took a breath, pushed 3 times, and she was out. I could not believe how fast she came out. They put her on my chest and did all that sort of stuff. About 2 minutes later, my doctor walked in, my poor doctor. So he took over and, you know, I birthed the placenta and all that fun stuff. She was good, so I was able to like lay there and nurse her and everything like that, and everything went really, really smoothly. So the one thing that was funny about my birth is they did break my water, but right as soon as she came out, a whole bunch more fluid came out, and I soaked the poor nurse, that was like delivering Hailey. So I apologize to her for that. Anyway, guys, so that is Hailey's birth story. I don't know if I missed anything. I hope not. Like I said, it happened really, really, really fast. I'm happy with how everything happened. I will say the difference between my son's and this one, Cervidil and the drip, I would definitely take Cervidil 100 times over. The drip, I hated it so much. And this was just so much more relaxed and calm on my body and let my body kind of do what it wanted to do naturally, almost. So anyway, guys, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this. Give it a big thumbs up if you did. Comment down below and let me know if you have any questions, and I will answer them for you guys. And yeah, we will see you, you want to wave, in my next video. Bye, guys.
Bye.